Welcome back. Okay, this is chapter 9, section 2. We're talking about strings and lists today. All right, so here's our first question. Don't forget to read sections 901 and 902 in the textbook. They're linked right here. And the appendices have string commands you might want to look up to help you do the homework. Okay, so number 1. Python strings have methods like s dot starts with sub and s dot ends with sub, end sub. Okay, now what's weird about that is that S has to be a string object and then starts with has to be a string method. We're not going to do it that way. Which return true if S starts with sub or ends with sub, respectively. Pretend that these methods do not exist and write your own function starts with S comma sub. So S is the string we're looking in, and we're looking to see if sub is in there at the beginning. And then the same thing with ends with S comma sub. Do not use for loops in your functions. Use only string methods. So again, look up the appendix under the string methods, and you'll see there's a whole bunch of stuff you can use that are in Python, or Python commands. There's a weird space here. What is that there? Okay, do not use loops. Test your functions and make sure that they work the same way that starts with and ends with methods do, including the case where sub is an empty string or sub is the same as S. All right, so how are we going to do this? Well, let's see. How about if we write starts with? All right, let's look at this. So let's define a function called starts with. Is that what they want? Starts with. And it's going to look in S, the string S, for the substring sub. All right, so what you want to do here is use string slicing. So in other words, we can return whether S sub slice length sub. Now, what does that mean? Well, whoops, I put it in the wrong place. So length of sub is however long the sub is, okay? So the substring. So let's say, I don't know. Let's say the string is, you're a mean one, Mr. Grinch. And you're looking to see if the word you is at the beginning, which it is, right? So you has a length of, or substring would have a length of 3. So slice 3 means give me the first 3 letters of S, right? And then we want to know if that is sub, if that's the same as sub. So we're going to say return whether or not that substring is equal, Boolean equal to sub. Okay. Now that's it. I think that answers the question, but it's good form to take out some special cases. Like, for example, what if the length of the string we're looking at is less than the length of the substring? Well, then that can't happen. That can't be true. So let's automatically end the method or end this function with a return false. So this automatically returns false. But if this isn't the case, then we'll see if sub is the first 3 letters or not. All right, so let's test that thing. All right, so how about we do this, show. All right, how about quote, quote, comma, starts with, did I do that right? Nope. I'll just type it out. Starts with, all right, so I'm using single quotes outside. I better use double quotes inside. You, and I'm not going to do your because that's going to give me a quotation problem with the apostrophe. So you are a mean one, Mr. Grinch. You know the song, right? All right, so let's see what that gives me. Oh, and that's what I'm testing, comma. All right, let's make it true, comma, double quotes, you. So you is the beginning, right? So this should return true. So that should equal true. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this. This is just a label, what's in the quotes, right? I'm going to copy this here, and this gets evaluated. Let's see if this is true. And we get true. Okay, good, perfect. Now let's see if we can make it false. Let's see. Let's go here. All right, so I'm going to copy this whole thing. Put it here. And now I'm going to mess it up. How about if I put in the lowercase u, because, this is case sensitive, right? Come Come on. Let's make it a lowercase u. And this should equal or output false. Let's see. And false. Perfect. Okay. Now it's at the test what happens if the substring is the whole string or if the substring is the empty string. Is that what it said? Wait, including the cases where sub is an empty string or sub is a whole string. Okay, so let's test that. So I'll put that there. But now let's say it's a whole string. Let's make this smaller. How about if I just, whoops. How about if I just make this Baldwin Senior High or something? Baldwin Senior High School. And let's make it the same thing, the whole string. So this should be true. If the substring is the whole string, we'll count that as true. So what? Not a proper subset, right? But a subset, including the whole thing. So that's sort of like a substring is a subset of the string. All right, so this part should be true. Let's see. And we got true. Good. Okay, what if we put in the empty string? Well, that should be false, right? All right, so I'll just take this. And see if the empty string is in there. The empty string is not in there. A single string, a space should be true, right? If I do a space, that should be true. But that's not what they're saying. They're saying the empty string. This should still be true. Oh, it isn't. Don't we have a space in between Baldwin and Senior High? Oh, I have too many spaces, it looks like. Whoopsie. Is this 2 spaces? Huh. Why doesn't that work? That's really strange, because there is a string. There is a blank space between Baldwin and Senior High School. Why doesn't that work? That should be true, because that's not what they're asking. They're asking if the substring is the empty string. That should be false. But weirdness. All right, well, let's put in the empty string, see what happens. That should be false. That one's true. What is going on? That's really weird. The empty string is in there? Really? Is that true? Is the empty string a substring of a string, and even if it's not there? That case is baffling me. I'm not going to include that case. All right, forget that. I'm not going to worry about the case where it's the empty string or a single string. Let's get rid of that. Don't worry about that. We got everything else that they wanted working. Whoops. So let's be happy. I was going off on tangents. Let's not do that. Let's stick to the specification of the problem. We solved the specification of the problem. Now, we didn't finish, though. That starts with. What about ends with? Well, is ends with going to be the same logic? Similar, isn't it? Look, what if we say, let's copy this whole thing. Let's see how it's different. That's how it's the same. I'm going to call this ends with. All right, so if the length of the string is less than the length of the substring, it can't be in there, so that's false, right? Now, we're not going to check the first 3 characters if sub has a length of 3. We want to check the last 3. -3 would be the last 3. There you go. All right, so we're going to do the same 3 tests, but we're going to call it with ends with. Oh, not there. Dang it. Whoopsie. Please excuse my French. Put that there. But now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take ends with, Control C, put it here, Control V. There you go. Alrighty. So, how about if we make it true? In other words, we're going to end with Grinch. Right? So that should be true. This one should be true. Now let's make it false. How about Grinch, but we forget the exclamation point. And then ends with itself should be true. Baldwin Senior High School should return true. So true, false, true would be the last three outputs. What'd I do? Oh, I put the colon in the wrong place. It's negative, say -3, and then slice from the end. Whoopsie, sorry. And true, true, true. Wait a minute. What did I do? How was that true? Would I mess up? I didn't change this. So that one's, the first Grinch is true, the second Grinch is false, and the last Baldwin Senior High School thing would be true. True, false, true. Let's see. True, false, perfect. And the first one is true, false, true also. Yep, perfect. I did it. Right, good, nice. All right, so this whole problem. So Python strings have methods s that start with sub and s that ends with sub, which return true if s starts with sub or ends with sub, respectively. Pretend that these methods do not exist, and write your own function starts with s dot comma sub and ends with s comma sub. Do not use loops, because you could do loops to just traverse the strings as arrays and compare the two strings. Use only string methods like we did. Test your functions and make sure that they work the same way as starts with and ends with, including cases where sub is an empty string and sub is the same as s. Well, I'm not going to do the empty string thing. That's something weird going on there. That's sufficient. As long as you can write a method like this, I'm happy. Now, this particular piece is probably optional, but it's good. It's good form. Okay. Alrighty. So let's take a look at number 3. Okay. Where's number 3? Here we go. Okay, I don't need that blank. Write and test a function getDigits in the string s that returns a string of all digits found in s in the same order. For example, getDigits of the string star 1.23a -42 should return everything but the characters, right? The weird characters. So it's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, right? Okay, let's do that. So how are we going to write this? So in essence, what we want to do is strip away anything that's not a digit. All right, and then return a new string with all those digits. How am I going to do this? Okay. All right, they want to call it getDigits. All right, so define a function getDigits. I wish they'd be consistent. Are we doing camel case? Are we doing lowercase? Are we doing Python where ends with probably should have an underscore in the middle? I don't know. This is getting confusing. But anyway, getDigits of some function, some string s. Let's see. How about if we just define a blank string? So I'm going to call it temp equals the empty string. So it's there's nothing there. That's what, and I'm going to return temp when I'm done. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to build up temp. See, like this. For any character c in s, if c dot is digit. Now look up, if you look up in the appendices that I linked in Google Classroom, you'll find that isDigit is a string method that is a Boolean method, returns true or false depending on whether C is a digit or not. Right now, here C is a character, but we're treating character as a single letter string, right? All right, so if that's the case, if it is a digit, then what I'm going to do is going to take temp and concatenate it with plus equals that character C. Otherwise, no, I'm not going to do anything with C. Then when that loop is done, it traverses the entire string S, plus equals. And what we'll do is then return all the digits that we concatenated, so temp. So let's test it. We're going to test it right with this. Okay, so here. So show, they have double quotes in there. Okay, I'm going to do single quotes here. It's quote, comma. Let's copy this. This is my test. And you know what the output is. Let's see, right up to here. All right, so this is what we're testing. Here's my label. Let's see what it equals. And then let's evaluate it over here. And you know what the output should be. Let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, right? And we get 1, 2, 3, 4, 2. Good, perfect. There you go. There's your output. Nice. Oh, perfect. And you can test it with any other crazy string you want. Okay, perfect. Nice. 5. Recall that a valid name, like a variable name or function name, can have letters under lowercase, uppercase, alphabetic letters, right? A through Z, digits 0 through 9, and an underscore. Characters, though, those are the characters we can use, and you cannot start with a digit. Write a function is valid name S, where S is a string we're checking, that checks whether S represents a valid name in Python, a valid variable name, function name, whatever you want to call it. Okay, so let's write this method. How are we going to do this? Let's see. Define is, okay, we're doing camel case. Okay, valid name. All right, this is sort of Java E, this camel case stuff, okay, of some string S. All right, so how about we take out right away when it's false? When is it false? If it doesn't start with an alpha, is alpha. So there's a method called is alpha that returns true if it's a letter, A through Z, lowercase or uppercase. So I'm going to say if not S sub 0, the first letter, the first character of the string, if S sub 0 is that not an alpha, if it's not an alpha, so if not S sub 0 that is alpha, and I don't think this is camel case, is alpha. That's a method, a Boolean method, a predicate method returns true or false, depending. If that's not true, then we return false. Okay. When else is it true? Oh, it's also we're not allowed to start with a number. We can't start with an underscore, I guess. I don't usually do that, but that's allowed, right? Isn't it? According to the description right there. So I'm going to say or. Remember, or is when is the disjunction false? When both disjuncts are false. So when is it true? When one or the other disjunct is true. So if is alpha is false, but it starts with an underscore is true, I'm gonna say return. Waiting. Am I allowing underscore? Am I allowing an underscore? You know what? I think that's sufficient. All right, let's leave it like that. See what happens. Okay, so now what? Now we got to go through the rest of the string and make sure it's made up of alphabetic, numeric, so is digit, is alpha, or an underscore, right? Okay, so let's go through the rest of the string. In other words, we're going to do a for loop for C in S. Now let's see. S sub, okay, the slice from 1 to the end. So in other words, you took care of the first character, sub 0. Let's start at character 1 and through the end. If any of these characters C in the remainder of S is not alphabetic or a digit or an underscore, we're in trouble, right? So return false then. Otherwise, I guess we just return true, right? That should do it. All right, let's see. So if that, for everything in the string except for the first letter, that's a slice. Okay. Then let's see how we're going to write this. If not C dot is alpha. Now I could do dot is alpha or C dot is digit, or I could do this. C dot is alpha numeric. That's another Boolean. I think it's L num. If you look it up in the appendix. Okay, so that takes care of all the letters and the numbers. So if it's not that, oh, I don't need, what am I doing? I don't need this parentheses here. There's too many parentheses running around. There's my not. So inside the not, or it's not an underscore. Aha. Or C Boolean equals underscore. We're allowing that. So if it's not one of those, return false. Otherwise, we're going to return true. We took care of every case, I think. Oh, and did I? Okay. And now they want you to test a whole ton of crazy stuff. Oh boy. All right, let's do some testing. So if you take a look at the exercises at the end of chapter 9, section 2, they ask you to do a whole bunch of tests. So here's a whole bunch of tests. Ready? Let's see. So wait. Wait. I didn't finish. Colon. You return false there. But if you didn't return any falses so far, I think that covers all the falses. So let's return true. No, otherwise. This is not really an else. It's like we call it an otherwise. So it's not really a reserved word. All right. So how about this? Show. I got a lot of quotes going on here. Okay. How about if I do single quotes here and then is valid of the string. Now, what string do they want? B day? Okay, B day. Lowercase b, uppercase D, like that. Equals. Now, that should be valid, right? So I'm going to put this here and test it. So there's the label. Here's the test. Let's run number 5. Oopsie, what did I do? Oh, again, I put single quotes here so I can put double quotes here. I said that. Do what you say as you do. What do as I say, not as I do. Okay. Number 5, let's see. And that is true. Okay, good. Nice. So let's go through a bunch of these. Okay, now they had 6 tests that were true and 6 tests that should be false. So let's do all the tests that are true. One, 2, 3, 4, 5 more. All right, this one was A0. A0, like that. That should be true. Right, because you can start with an alphabetic or numeric, not a numeric, or an underscore. Whoops. That should also be true. Another test was underscore A underscore 1. So you can start with an underscore. I'm just copying from the book. These are crazy tests. There you go. Or underscore 1 amount or first amount, something like that. So underscore 1 amount, and AMT, like that. Okay, what else? And then 2 underscores or a single underscore. Oh, okay. So 2 underscores or a single underscore. These should all return true. And then we'll see which ones they want us to test it should return false. So all these tests should be true. In number 5. Whoa, what happened? Okay, all the ones that start with underscore are messed up. What did I do? If A, okay, let's go for the first if statement, line 41. If it's not true that S sub 0, the first character, is an alpha, if it's not an alpha, or it's an underscore. Oh, yeah, right. I was going to write that. Or S sub 0 equals an underscore. That's why it's not working. And then return false. Because remember, what's the negation of an or? What's the negation of a disjunction? It's the conjunction of the negations. So when is that true? When it's not alpha and it's not an underscore. All right, so let's see if that fixes my problem. Yeah, I lost that. I meant to put that case in. Was I talking about that? And now they're all true. Perfect. Nice. Okay. All right, now let's take a look at the tests that they say should come out false. This should be a minimally complete set of test data, hopefully. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy these 6 cases, which are true. I'm going to make them false, hopefully. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right here. Okay, so we'll start with, what's the next one? 1A, starting with a 1. Okay. 1A. That should give me false. So the last 6 outputs should be false when I'm done. Okay, here's the next one. Number sign or hashtag A, hashtag capital A. So get rid of this, put a hashtag in front. So because you can start with an alphabetic, you can start with an underscore, but you can't have hashtag anywhere. You're only allowed alphanumeric and hashtag, right? So you can't start with a hashtag because you can't have hashtag anyplace. So, oops, it's not going to do that. All right, so let me copy this. So that should give me false also. What else did they test? Start with the 1 underscore A. Okay. Start with a 1 underscore A and get rid of that. That should also give me false. What else do they want to test? Square bracket A, square bracket. Okay, so put A in square brackets. Well, let's do it here. That should also give me false because you can't have square brackets. You're only allowed letters, upper or lowercase, numbers, or underscores, and you can't start with a number, right? So you can't have a bracket at the beginning or in the middle or at the end or anywhere. Okay, what else? A space and ABC. So you're not allowed spaces, right? So let's do that one. Whoops, this one. A space with capital ABC. Nothing's wrong with the ABC, but you can't start with a space. That's confusing to the interpreter. So ABC. All right, and then how about what? The empty string, I think they want. You can start with an underscore. I guess an underscore is a variable. Yeah, some people do that, use underscores a lot as state variables in the class when we do object-oriented programming and make our own classes and our own methods and our own objects. Yeah, all right, so the last 6 outputs should be false in number 5, and they are, except for I messed up line 58. What did I do? What's wrong? Line 50. String index out of range? What? Wait, hang on. Wait, I tested all this code ahead of time. Why is this not working, this last one? Wait, now I have the exact same code I had in my notes. So what's wrong with that? Let's see, let me check my notes here. Define is valid as colon, right? Okay, if not, s sub 0 that is alpha or s sub 0 equals underscore. Oh, I didn't take care of this case where if it's an empty string, I should do that, I guess. All right, so let's put that here. Or empty string's not allowed, so I'm going to have to specify that on purpose. Or the length of s is 0. That's not allowed. Okay, let's try that. Because that's not really a string. So that's not a variable name. And so the last one should be false. No. Still says string index out of range. What happened? Why? I'm not accessing. Wait, what line was it? I'm not accessing a particular index, am I? 58 and 41. 58 and 41. Let me think about this. If not is 0, if not s sub 0 that is alpha or s sub 0 is an underscore, or the length of s is 0. Oh, good. This is good. This is a teachable moment. I like it. Yes. Okay. We should talk about Boolean operator shortcuts. Here's the thing. What if it is the empty string? Then there is no s sub 0. So I can do s sub 0 that is alpha or s sub 0 equals underscore. So this is the trick. Put the test for the length of s equal to 0 in front here. len s equals 0, or get rid of it here. And so what's nice about this is that Python, this is very Java-like, Python short circuits an OR statement. Now remember, OR is only false when both disjuncts are false, right? So if the first one is true, the whole thing's true. You don't have to check the next one. So what this does is error trapping. It makes it so that this doesn't happen if there isn't an s sub 0. So we won't have an error. If this is true, automatically it short circuits the disjunction, because the disjunction is going to automatically be true. The first disjunct is true, so just return false, right? That makes it so you can error trap like this, or you can make your code run quicker, more efficiently. All right, let's see if that fixes my problem. Let's see, is the last one false now? Number 5. That is good. Okay, nice. I like that. That was nice. All right, so don't forget Boolean operator overloading. So if you have an OR statement and the first, if you have a disjunction, an OR, and the first disjunct is true, the whole thing's going to be true automatically. It's not even going to check the second part. How about an AND? AND is the same way. AND is only true when both disjuncts are true. So what if the first, for both a AND or a conjunction is true only when both conjuncts are true? So what if the first one is false? Right away, the whole thing is false, and it short circuits the AND. It doesn't even check the second conjunct. There you go. I like it. Okay, that was 5. Nice. Teachable moment. I like it. All right, number 7. Write and test a function remove tag from S or string S that tries to find within S the first substring enclosed within angle brackets. Like when you do HTML. You ever do any HTML hyper markup language with hypertext markup language? It's not really a language. It's just like that. It's text editing. It's like a way to like word process your web page, But anyway, it removes the angle brackets, including the angle brackets. Let's see. That tries to find within S the first substring enclosed within angle brackets. Removes that string included in the angle brackets. This is typo. Included in the angle brackets, if found, and returns a new string. For example, remove tag, quote, do not disturb, where you have tags U and close U around not, which would be like an underline in a web page. You want to remove that. Okay, so what's it going to remove? It's going to remove the first set of angle brackets and the string inside, which is the U. And so what's left is do not close U. Right, that the backslash means close the underline, which is weird. That wouldn't work in HTML, but that's okay. And if no angle brackets are found, the function to return the original string unchanged. Nothing happens. Okay, so how would we do that? Well, let's see. Can we write? All right, let's find out. All right, so define. What do I want to call it? Remove tag. Remove tag. Or remove a pair of tags. Well, no, remove one tag, a pair of angle braces, open and close angle braces, anything in between, right? So remove tag in S, whatever it is, whatever's in the tag, whatever's in angle braces. All right, so now what you want to do is you want to use the find command in the string class in Python. So let's find out where the open angle brace is. How about start, the index where we start, equals s.find string open angle brace. So that'll tell you the index in the string. Like in this example, the index where the first angle brace shows up is at D is at sub 0, O is at sub 1, space is at sub 2, so this would be 3, right? All right, so we've got to find out where it starts, and then we've got to figure out where it ends. In this case, for the 5th index 5, which is the 6th character, right? But look, what's nice about this is if we get a start value, start index equal to -1, we can return S unscathed right away. So what does that mean? The find method will give you the index where the angle brace shows up. But what if it doesn't show up anywhere? It'll return -1, which is not a legal index, right? So if it returns -1, you know that it wasn't in there. So then you're going to leave the string alone. There's nothing to do. Okay, let's do something similar for end index, I guess we'll call it. Hopefully these are not reserved words. I'm going to call this end. And we're looking now for the the close angle brace. Now, so if end is -1, return S. Perfect. Okay, good. Now, let's say that they're not. Okay. I'm assuming precondition is that this is, legal HTML code. So the first time you find an open angle brace, and the second thing that you find is the closed angle brace, there's a string in between them, right? So that's the first set of angle braces. So do I have to tell find to start at start index and ignore the open angle brace? I don't know about that. All right, so when do you return the string without those braces and everything in between? Now, but how do you do that? Let's return everything in S from the beginning up to that start index. Okay. And then we're going to concatenate that with everything in the string. And then we're going to take the slice starting at end and going to the end. So this starts at this is a slice of S that starts at the beginning of the string S and goes up to start, not including start, right? So start is 4, it'll do 0, 1, 2, 3 indices, right? And then it'll go from there. For this one, it starts at end and goes to the end. Let's see how this works. So why don't we test it with the example they gave? Like, let's see, show. All right, so, all right, I'm going to put single braces, single quotes here. And I'm going to say remove tag of, now this is the string that they want, right? So I'm going to take this with the double quotes. That would be convenient. So that should get rid of this U thing with the open angle brace, the U and the closed angle brace. That should go away, and it should say do space not, and then leave the other angle braces alone. Okay, let's see what that gives me. Equals what string? What string does this return? Let's find out. So let's see if 7 is good. And why didn't it get rid of? It didn't really find the close angle brace. All right, so I was thinking this. Okay, how about we start the second find? You can start the second find at a particular place, so you can ignore the first few characters if you want. Let's start at start, or is it start +1? So we can ignore the open angle brace. So find is an overloaded method. You can take one parameter or 2 parameters. If you have 2 parameters, you can tell it where to start looking, ignore everything before that. Is it start or start +1? Am I off by 1? Is this an off by 1 error? Ugh. All right, let's see what happens. I think I need start +1. Let's find out. And the output for 7 is still bad. Okay. Yeah, so I want to skip where the open angle brace is. So how about we start looking the second time at start +1? I think that's what's going on. All right, so let's do that. And no, it still doesn't do that. So what is going on? Look, I tested this on my notes. I have this on my blog, and I'm looking at my blog on my other computer, and this is the exact same code, and it worked perfect. So what the heck? Let me look at this. Number 7, is the output correct? Yeah, I got rid of both angle braces and the U. What am I doing different? Am I doing something different? I always do this ahead of time, make sure it's good for you guys. All right, let me go through this code again. All right, so maybe I'm missing something stupid. All right, so define remove tag string S : right. Start. All right, start is not a reserved word, and end is not a reserved word, is it? Because I use a different name in my notes. Oh, gee, I don't know. Start equals s.find string open angle brace. If start is -1, return the strings, in other words, untouched. Then end is s.find string close angle brace. That's really a close angle brace. But start looking at start plus 1. Yeah, that's exactly what I have in my notes. If end is -1, then return S again. Right, okay, so you return S up to start, concatenate S and everything from end on. Oh, that's what's wrong, because if end, think about it. If end is, let's say, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then you concatenate from 9 on, you don't want that. That's where the plus 1 goes. That's where the plus 1. I was off by 1 there. All right, let's see if that works. And it did it. Perfect. So do I need this plus 1 over here? I don't think so. Let's see. Does this mess up anything? Let's see what happens. And no, I didn't need that plus 1. All right, I was off by 1, but I was off by 1 on the concatenating, not at the find. What if I get rid of this completely? So we're at precondition, we're assuming that the first close angle brace comes after the first open angle brace, and then we'll remove that. Can I get away with this? Let's see if that worked. That worked. Okay, wait now. All right, hang on. All right, so now what if we take that output and get rid of the other tag, this \u tag? Can we do that? All right, so that's what we're going to do. I'm going to say, okay, this is what I'm going to do. Let's test this some more. Can we get rid of all the tags? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of this. Right, that's what the output was last time. If we do it again, now we should have no tags. That second tag should go away. Let's see what happens. Did I mess up something? Because I have slightly different code in my notes, but that worked. Okay. And then if there are no tags, it should just do nothing and return the original string, right? So what does that mean? I'm going to run it again. I'm going to test it again. But now there's no tags in there, so it should return S unchanged, entirely unchanged. So let's see what happens here. And we are perfect, golden, nice. Alrighty, that's it for today, guys. I think we did it. So there's the code for number 1. It starts with sub and ends with sub, and there's all your test data. How's that? There's the code for number 3. Strip out anything but the digits, return all the digits in a string, strip out everything else, get digits. There's the code for number 5 that makes sure that S is a legal variable or function name, descriptive identifier in Python. So it starts with an alphanumeric or an underscore, but it doesn't start with, it starts with an alpha or an underscore, but not a number. And anything else has to be an upper lowercase alphabetic character, an underscore, or a number, right? And here are all the test cases. We had 12 test cases they wanted you to do in the question. They gave you all of these, okay? And then number 7, removing HTML tags, anything between two angle braces, an open and a closed angle brace, and everything in between. And all those tests worked out. Okay, so here's the output for number 1. Here's the output for number 3. Here's the output for number 5. Here's the output for number 7. All right, hope that was helpful, guys. Bye-bye. Have a good day, and stay healthy. Okay, so don't forget, we did 4 odds, 1, 3, 5, 7. For homework, you're doing 4 evens. Chapter 9, Section 2, 2, 4, 6, 8. We'll go over that in our Google Meet tomorrow, so you better have them done before then, so that I will not accept any questions we go over in the Google Meet. I will not accept any of those homeworks afterward. Okay? All right, bye.